Welcome back to No Sticks, No Bricks. If you're watching this video, then chances are you love to RV. Whether you camp on the weekends, whether you're a full-timer, or maybe you're considering purchasing an RV. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be on the other side? Have you ever considered purchasing and owning an RV park? Well, we met a couple that did just that. They were on the road for a couple years, full-time RVing, and decided to purchase their own RV park. We sat down with them, we picked their brain, and found out what it's like to purchase and own an RV park. And we're gonna get to them right after this. All right, well, thanks guys for allowing us to do this interview with you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Inquiring minds want to know. You know, we've been full-timing for 2.5 years, and we've run into a lot of other full-timers that kind of always have that burning question in the back of their mind. What would it be like to be on the other side of the RV park as owners? And you guys have been through all that, so today we're going to talk about that. So let's start off with your RV background. Where did you guys start RVing?
So we were full-time for the last couple of years before buying the campground. We were based out of Reno, Nevada. So we actually had businesses already in Reno. And we actually adjusted our schedules then to be able to be in Reno for a couple of weeks at a time and then leave for a couple of weeks at a time. So instead of going back to a brick and mortar house, you know, we just decided to stay in the RV and, you know, and travel, you know, and so that allowed us to travel kind of the West Coast, you know, as much as we wanted to. And even before we did that, we were traveling 60, 70 plus days a year, I guess. We have our twin daughters that we kind of just found like it was just kind of important to them to get them out kind of on the road and see that there's more than just behind a phone, you know, screen.
Good family time.
Yeah, it really is.
Definitely.
Memories that they'll have forever.
Yep.
Like I remember camping with my parents when I was a kid, still vividly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you throw your kids in a truck and drive, you know, 14, 15 hours, you know, across half the country. You get to know your kids real well.
So how many RVs have you guys owned?
Let's see, we are on our 4th RV. We started in 1986, Lafayette, little 18-foot travel trailer, and we just kind of did local little day trips out to the lake and stuff like that. And then we went to a 2001, maybe a Lafayette as well, and that was, I guess, kind of like that where we started branching out and going a little bit farther, you know, and still not getting really far. We just didn't have a good enough truck at that point to feel comfortable to do those like big cross-country trips. Right. And then we upgraded to a diesel. Then we felt comfortable to go farther. And then we had the diesel, so then we had to get a bigger trailer. And then and then that trailer turned into then what we have right now is a Grand Design Reflection. Yeah,
fellow Grand Design owner.
Yeah.
So it's fair to say that you guys have been to quite a few RV parks, kind of saw how each one was operated, and then at some point, one of you two brought up the discussion of purchasing an RV park. So how did that go? Like, how did that happen?
So the businesses that we owned were all personal service businesses, and dealing with personal service businesses during COVID, I mean, we had a barbershop, a nail salon, and a massage studio. Oh, wow. During COVID, it were probably the worst businesses to own, right? And so we finally got through the COVID year, and then the following year turned into, you know, even more struggles with employment and, you know, staff and stuff like that. And then our daughters left for college. And once our daughters left for college, then it kind of gave us the capabilities of, we don't have to stay here anymore. We can make a big change without, you know, affecting the kids so much.
And we were looking for a big change.
And we were looking for a big change. And because we were already traveling full time, we kind of both were born and raised in construction type of families. You know, I was born and raised in construction. So then you had already the RV side of stuff, I guess, you know, and already knowing the kind of the backgrounds of the campgrounds and what it kind of takes to run one just by watching, you know, when you're there.
Right. Right.
But then, that have the know-how to fix, and repair everything, which is probably one of the biggest, crucial points of, when you buy a campground like this
I bet. Stuff's always breaking.
Always breaking. Yep. Yeah. So
we've been to good campgrounds where they drag their feet and they don't fix it right away, and we've been at great campgrounds where they fix it like Johnny on the spot.
Yep.
So.
And it's tough up in like an area like here, where your closest Home Depot is 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And even when you drive that 45 minutes away, they aren't guaranteed to have the faucet or the fitting that you have, or that you need. So, yep.
How did the old purchasing process go? Like, how do you even look for an RV park that's for sale? Is there a website like RVparksforsale.com, or how does that work?
There is, and so there is kind of 2 or 3 big brokers in the country. It's kind of unique because oddly they're all kind of based out of Michigan. They all kind of branched off. It seemed like from like one company, and then they kind of split apart. And so the first company was here in Michigan, and then as it branched apart, just the big brokers just happened to be up here in Michigan.
Okay.
And so we actually reached out to a broker through a company called Campground Connections, and they have hundreds of campgrounds listed for sale.
So private sellers will actually contact them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we then kind of went through the process, letting them know what we're looking for, the areas that we're looking for, and that's kind of how the process begins. For us, we were kind of a wide open book because one of our daughters went to college in Oregon, the other one went to school down in Florida. So we told them, look, as long as we're in between them, we're good. The one part that we did put is that we wanted a seasonal campground. So we want to be able to come in, work hard during the season, and then still take off for half the year and go travel, because that is where our passion is still on the travel aspect of it.
Good.
So,
Best of both worlds.
Yep.
So you purchased this RV park, Chano Lakes RV Park, right?
Yep.
And
Chano Lakes Campground.
Chano Lakes Campground.
Yep.
So what's the difference between a campground and an RV park?
I think you're splitting hairs a little bit sometimes. Some people will say that, when you start getting into the RV parks, you're starting to look at different amenities, what they offer. Do they have, more of the volleyball nets and we have the swimming pool, we have like the walking trails, but there is other parks that have even more, I guess, amenities, if that's, what you're looking for.
And I think maybe the fact that we aren't restricted to just RVs, we offer tent and cabins as well.
Yep.
Could lead into campground as well.
So let's talk about that. How many RV sites do you have? How many cabins, tent sites, all that?
56 RVs, 11 cabins, and 28 tent sites.
Wow.
Yep.
So you got a little bit of a work to maintain this place.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
So it's pretty much 100 sites.
Yep.
And even though we're going to be making some changes, there's every day is maintenance.
Right.
So.
And, how many of those sites are like 50 amp full hookup sites?
For roughly, I would say 20.
Yeah.
And then the rest are 30 amp, but they are all full hookup.
Yep.
All of our
All
RV
full
sites,
hookup.
yes, all offer full hookup.
And
So
30 amp up here in northern Michigan really is not a huge deal because you're not running 2 or 3 ACs all the time.
well, and our
For sure.
30 amps are under the trees
Oh,
too,
nice.
so they're already shaded. The 50 amps tend to be out in the sun. So yeah.
You guys find the park, you purchase it. So how much does it cost to purchase an RV park? Like, I have no idea. You don't have to give us your exact number, but just give us a kind of a ballpark.
Campgrounds range. We saw campgrounds listed for as low as 50 grand. It's just 2 sites on somebody's private property that they were doing hip camp type of stuff.
Oh, okay.
All the way up to we saw campgrounds for sale for $6, $7, $8 million. This campground we're south of $1 million. But it all varies. If you took this same park and moved it down to Florida, where they have almost a full season or a year-round park, then they would have been, maybe $2 to $3 million for this exact same park. So it all varies on, what you're looking for. And honestly, the people that do want to get into a campground, there is a price point. I feel like, almost anybody really could get their feet wet, to start getting into it.
So if you don't have the cash, let's say, is there like special RV park loans, or is it just a business loan? Or?
There is actually a lot of campgrounds that will carry the note for you guys, or for people, I guess, just because maybe for some reason, one reason or another, they know that their bank or a bank won't finance that particular park, for whatever reason. There's a million different reasons that, banks, won't lend. And right now, I mean, rates are going up. So private party stuff is actually becoming more and more, willing to, I guess the sellers are willing to carry it, for a little bit more time, I guess.
Okay. So you guys have owned this park since September,
so
this
11 months.
Mid-April or mid-August now, so almost a year.
Yeah.
Almost a year.
What would you say your biggest challenge so far is in owning an RV park?
Plenty of challenges. When you buy a campground like this, it needed some love when we came in, but it's an older park, and so trying to actually figure out what to instantly jump into and what to work on is probably the biggest challenge. And everybody has their ideas of what you should do with your park, and everybody doesn't have any problems telling you like, oh, you should do this or you should do that. It's the $1 million ideas. But for us, when you're on the business aspect of it, it's really hard to figure out where to put your money first to if you want to renovate. And a lot of the campgrounds that we looked at, we didn't really want to touch anything for the first year. It was a little bit of a unique, scenario that we did jump in both feet, right in and started remodeling bathrooms and moving laundry rooms and updating sites and fixing power and bringing other sites that were washed out, back to life and stuff like that. So, biggest challenge is just trying to figure out what to work on next.
I think this park is probably a prime example of don't expect what you see online for reviews.
Yeah.
Because when Jen and I booked this park, that's the first thing we did. That's the first thing a lot of people do is when you're looking at RV parks, you look at the reviews, see what they are. And you guys being new owners, I think a lot of there's some bad reviews out there, but they're not from you guys, they're from the previous owner.
For sure.
So you really can't judge it off that once there's new ownership.
And we talked about doing a name change, totally rebranding it, but that's hard because the community knows the campground as Channel Lakes. It's been Channel Lakes Campground since the 70s, and so to lose that would have been tough. And so we did make the decision that we were going to stick with the name and fight through getting the reviews back up.
There you go.
And this summer has been amazing. The people have come in and given us great feedback.
Well, you're always busy. We've been here for 10 days now, and it's been packed every day. So you guys must be doing something right. So we talked about the biggest challenge. What's your biggest reward? Like what has been your biggest reward so far?
Meeting the people.
Yeah?
Yeah, new friendships, relationships, and developing relationships with customers who are already rebooking for next year. They're excited to come back. They're coming back for longer stays. And now when we get to go travel, we can see them along our way, and we've been invited to stay on people's properties, and
it feels good when somebody comes in and says, hey, like you guys were such a blast to have as our host or as the owners. Like if you guys are ever down in Virginia, we have ranch land or whatever, feel free to stop by. Property in Florida and Arizona, people offering to buy us the first round. So that's kind of why we got into it, right? Is camping is such a social kind of world, so
it's a family.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm coming to Michigan for the first time. I've never been here before. I know I want to go see this part of Michigan, and I guess this would be considered the northern central part of Michigan. We're about an hour and a half south of the UP?
So we're considered northern Michigan up here, and so up north.
Northern lower Michigan.
Yeah.
We're trolls, right?
So anybody below the bridge is considered a troll. I think that kind of, as you get closer to the bridge, they start using that verbiage a little bit more,
Yeah.
All
All right, so I'm coming to this area, and I've got all these RV parks to choose from. Why am I coming to Channel Lakes? Like, what do you guys have to offer for this area?
We're centrally located. We're 10 minutes from Torch. We're close to Bellaire downtown. We're close to Alden. Charlevoix is not far. Petoskey, just an hour away. Traverse City is only 45 minutes away. You can always hit the island from here. Mackinac Island isn't far. You can an hour
Sleeping
drive.
Bear Dunes.
Yeah, Sleeping Bear Dunes.
Yeah, Fishtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the peninsulas, the wineries.
So you're not going to run out of stuff to do.
No.
No.
So if you type in, the top, things to do in Michigan, will be within an hour of every one of those lists. I'm just, it's
You
just.
mentioned Torch. That's a lake, right?
Torch Lake.
Yeah, so Torch Lake is part of Channel Lakes. That's what the campground's named after. We actually the campground's not physically on a lake, but we're up against a series of lakes that are all connected by a waterway. You can boat through all of them. There is a couple dams, so you sooner or later have to pull your boat out and, put in a little bit higher, but you can kayak and paddleboard through the entire chain. Torch Lake was listed by National Geographic as the third most gorgeous lake in the world.
We've driven by it, and it looks beautiful, and
Yep.
we're going out on it on Saturday in a
Excellent.
pontoon boat. We can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just a cool area. I mean, for your viewers, they should look up like Torch Lake. Just type in Torch Lake Sandbar 4th of July. YouTube that, and we are within 10 minutes of that sandbar.
Fantastic.
So.
All right, so now I'm coming to Channel Lakes. I'm going to go to Torch Lake. How do I book a site? Like, how do I get a hold of you guys? What's your contact information?
You go to ChannelLakesCamp.com.
ChannelLakesCamp.com.
Yep.
You can book right online?
Yes,
Yep.
you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or call Cameo.
Yeah, or call me in the office.
And you guys are open 7 days a week?
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yep.
We open mid-April and go all the way till November.
Okay.
Yep.
And then snow starts to fall, and you guys are like,
And
we're out.
we're out.
Yep.
We head south. Go enjoy our passion.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
I like it.
man, we sure appreciate you sitting down with us. I know you guys are super busy, but
No, thanks for coming.
We've loved staying here. We're definitely coming back. For
Awesome.
Sure. We're glad to meet you guys. We've hung out with you a few times since
Yeah.
you've been here.
Yeah.
And we really like the family atmosphere here. So you guys are doing a great job. Those reviews
Thank you.
are going to start becoming 5 stars like every single time, I have a feeling.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thanks, you
All
guys.
right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell all your friends. And until next week, guys, safe travels. Baby, you're such a baby. Such a big baby.